Suicidal clothes cause I'm dressed to kill. Leave 6 bitches oohing cause I'm worth a mil. Flow is ill, spitting no vomit spill. Killing them softly but I ain't Lauren.
What is up, my people? It's your boy, Sami. I'm alongside Vic, as always. Welcome to another episode of the Townie Sports Podcast. We are here, we are live, and we are ready to go. Got a lot of news to get to today. Some more NFL stuff, because obviously we're, now, like 3 weeks out from opening week. So, Vic, how you feeling about all this? Football coming back and everything.
I'm feeling great, man. College football starts this weekend as well, so we got a little bit of amateur football, if you want to call it that, with the NILs. But just ready to be back in football season. I know everybody else is looking forward to it.
Indeed, we do. Indeed, we do. Some quick things I wanted to touch on before we kind of jump and dive right into the NFL preview. Obviously, last week, as a lot of people know, we got some news out of the NFL that Deshaun Watson's suspension has been upheld, and it was actually increased, I believe, to 11 games. And kind of a perfect segue to what we're talking about today, because we were going to go in on the AFC North and talk about kind of, how that division is looking, especially with him being there. I originally was planning on about between 5 to 8 games, but getting this 11 games kind of changes things. But then we'll talk a little bit about it later. But Vic, what were your instant impressions when you saw that?
I don't want to get too, I don't know if political is the right word, but I don't want to get too deep into what he did. Obviously, he's a monster. He's a monster for what he did with all the accusations and stuff.
Football related, though. Football related.
What this means for the Browns. It doesn't mean much. I think they got the best end of the deal here. The fact that he's actually going to play this season, what I think came as a shock to most people. I know myself. I thought he'd be at least suspended for a season after seeing what happened to Calvin Ridley, after seeing what happened to DeAndre Hopkins for PEDs. Now I know that those types of suspensions, I think that they're already written in as a certain number of games, but. Seeing what Tom Brady got for deflating, quote unquote, deflating a football, 11 games is a slap on the wrist. Yeah. So you take that, and I think you're happy with it if you're the Browns. The second part I was thinking about it was I think his first game back is against the Texans, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't think that the NFL,
I think not.
Oh hell no, they did that shit on purpose. That game's gonna get a lot of eyeballs. I don't think that the Browns are going to be competitive this year because of not having a quarterback. We've seen Jacoby Brissett do it for 1 or 2 games, but believe it or not, Jacoby Brissett is pretty fragile, and he's a good backup quarterback. You never want your backup quarterback starting more than 2 games. Right. So there you go.
So, yeah, it looked as if, we'll get into it later, but it looked as if Vegas knew a little bit of something, too, because their line only dropped about a half a game, and I think it went from 10 to 9.5 wins over-under. So I think they knew that a suspension like that was coming if they thought that maybe he might be out for the whole season. But not really a huge change in the line there. And then, obviously, real quick, NBA news, the Pat Beverly trade. What'd you think about that, Vic, real quick? I don't know if you're prepared for that or looked at that.
So that's just pure comedy. I love it. Having Pat Bev and Russell Westbrook on a team together is going to be awesome. We need cameras to follow that team, and we already know that the cameras love following the Lakers. So we need those cameras on the Lakers this season to see how many fights LeBron's breaking up between Westbrook and Pat Bev. Now, on a related note, KD also mentioned that he has made up with the Nets, which likely means that the Nets are going to start the season with KD, Kyrie, and Ben Simmons. If you listen to this podcast, you would know that I had said this all along. KD's going to stay with the Nets, and that's where he ends up. His price tag was just too much. Rudy Gobert blew up his spot. There was no way anybody was going to pay that high of a price for him. That they were asking. I mean, the Rudy Gobert trade was insane.
Thank you, Damien.
And I think the next shoe to fall, I think he's going to end up trading away Mitchell. So we'll see what happens. But crazy stuff on the NBA front too, and I love how the NBA has become a 12-month sport.
Yeah. So we are obviously going to get into a lot more of that as the season progresses, as it gets a little bit closer. But obviously right now our focus is on previewing this NFL season. This is kind of where you and I started our journey on this road. And then even last year, right? I think this is the same exact podcast last year where you had your incredible, tremendous heater. So let's see if you got another one. It might not be this week. It might not be this week. It might be next week, considering, maybe you might not be as high on the Browns this year as you were last year. But still, we got another heater coming and I feel it. So yeah, let's get right into it. Let's just dive straight in.
I love that.
Let's dive straight into the NFC South. So in alphabetical order, we got the Atlanta Falcons. So key acquisitions: Marcus Mariota, Damien Williams, Bryan Edwards, Drake London, Desmond Ridder out of Cincy. And obviously Drake London was the wide receiver out of USC. Key departures, obviously Matt Ryan went to the Colts, Russell Gage went to the Bucks, and then linebacker, who I was really high on for the Patriots, hoping the Patriots to get, was Foye Oluokun, who went to the Jaguars. Now, honestly, this is really, really interesting to me. I think there's going to be a big QB battle here in Atlanta, and I'm actually very, very interested in it. What about you, Vic?
No, I love it, man. I don't know how to place the Ravens, because I like Lamar Jackson, but I don't know if I trust Lamar Jackson.
We're on the Falcons.
That makes sense? Falcons. Oh, my bad. NFC. Falcons. So, Mariota, decent. Again, I don't know if Mariota has it. Do you think Mariota starts for them? I don't think so. If we're looking at the depth chart, I think Ridder could get a chance out there. I don't think any of the quarterbacks in this draft are going to end up being like Tom Brady's or Aaron Rodgers', but I think there's a few Ryan Tannehills in here. That's for sure. I think Kenny Pickett over in Pittsburgh is one of those, but I don't want to get into Pittsburgh right now. I think we're going to get to them later, right?
Yeah.
So we'll start. So my whole thing about the Atlanta Falcons is I can't believe they're tanking this hard. I think they're looking already towards 2023 and the 2023 draft, where they'll either take the kid from Alabama, Love, or the kid from Ohio State, C.J. Stroud. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think Ridder by week 8, we should see probably him come into play, maybe even before that, after what I'm seeing. And, like you mentioned, they're in a full rebuild mode. They got some decent young offensive talent on this team. I think if they just kind of throw Desmond Ridder out there, get the lay of the offense, get a lay of some of the players, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, who could be, a future stud in the NFL. And we know Atlanta is really good at drafting wide receivers, as they have in the past, just kind of like Pittsburgh. There's kind of a parallel there, as you were kind of alluding to earlier. But yeah, right. we're going to see. I think right now the over-under is 4.5. What are you doing with that?
That's a tough one, dude. That's a real tough one. I could see it go a few ways, right? With Pitts, I think I have to go over on the 4.5. I'm gonna go over.
Oh, it's actually to 5 now. It went to 5 now.
Then I'll take the push.
You take.
I'm gonna say 5. Yeah, I think they're going to be right around 5.
Yeah, I think I'm actually at 6. So I'm going to have to take the over. This team won 7 games last season with injuries. They had some young talent on offense. I think Mariota has the potential to be good. I don't know if he will be good. I think I'm with you. I don't trust him. I think Ridder will get a chance. I like his arm strength. We'll see. We'll see after a few weeks. But yeah, I like 6 there. I'll probably still pull the over. If it gets to 5.5, I might consider otherwise.
Yeah, 5.5 is a little bit much, but I think 5 is decent. Depending on who's starting, and I think we're going to be finding ourselves in a space where they have no choice but to start Ridder because Mariota's hurts.
Yeah, that too. So, all right. So, some fantasy players that you're looking at in Atlanta. Give me, some of your studs, sleepers, and then maybe like a deep sleeper. We probably might have the same ones.
Yeah, I mean, there's literally nobody else on this team that I would like other than Kyle Pitts. as a sleeper, I don't think Cordell Patterson counts as a sleeper, but I guess Cordell Patterson. I don't have my ADP up in front of me right now, but I think he might be the best as far as late round picks for the Atlanta Falcons that are actually going to be drafted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I like that. I like Cordell Patterson. I like Kyle Pitts. Sleeper, I like Drake London. I just think he's going to get pushed right in.
Yeah, that's a good one, Drake London.
And then I got a deeper sleeper, Damien Williams. He's known to be one of those, third down backs, big boy. Can move the chains a little bit. Maybe he'll see some playing time later on in the season as they see that they use Cordell Patterson more in pass and maybe make Damien Williams more of a running specific running back. So it's another kind of late, like you said, a late round guy, Damien Williams. I don't mind. But all right, moving on. So the Carolina Panthers. So key additions, obviously Baker Mayfield, wide receiver Rashard Higgins, running back Dante Foreman, and linebacker Corey Littleton. Key departures, linebacker Hassan Riddick, another one that I wanted the Patriots to go after, and linebacker Jermaine Carter. So originally when I wrote this up, because we were going to do this show last week, there was originally a QB battle, but as of yesterday, it was announced that Baker Mayfield will start week 1 for the Carolina Panthers. What say you about the Carolina Panthers, Vic?
Yeah, I mean, he didn't really have a choice, right? He kind of got thrust into it. The battle was kind of over. And I know Baker Mayfield, was traded, but if you're trading for a guy, right, that has started in the past, I feel like they had no choice other than to start him. And I'm still trying to pull up my ADP right now, so sorry for the distraction here.
No, you're good.
They had injuries, right? So I believe Matt Corral, he's out for the season this year. That was the rookie they picked up out of Ole Miss, who was at the beginning of the season a number 1 overall prospect as far as the QB position. So that's a tough loss there. Kind of ruined the battle, so they became Sam Darnold versus Baker Mayfield. No surprise to me, Baker's getting the start here. I still believe in Darnold, though, for some reason. I know that he's been terrible, but if you look at it, he's still only 25 years old. Baker's 27. So he's only 2 years older than the rookie that they drafted this year. So I still have hope for Darnold. I just hope he finds the right spot. As far as anywhere else on the field other than CMC, this team might be the worst team in the NFL, right? I mean, who on here do you like as far as look at it on the defensive end?
Nobody.
Yeah, it's a tough look, a tough lot. So I hate the Panthers.
They lost their best player on defense.
Yeah, so I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at a QB battle, but not like a fun one. Like I think at least the Mariota Ritter thing's a little bit more fun. Younger guys. One guy was a previous top round pick against a second round pick. So that's going to be a little bit more fun. This one is just brutal. It's like 2 quarterbacks that nobody wanted in the NFL that are vying for a position to start for, the Carolina Panthers. And, I've been screaming this for, the last year and a half, free DJ Moore, a guy who's had 1,000 yards every single season coming into the league, and he's been on the Carolina Panthers the whole time. So I think really, I don't really know. It's the defense lost this huge pass presence in Hassan Riddick, and they're trying to see and they went a little cheaper, can Corey Littleton fill that void? But I mean, I just don't know. I don't see it. You might be right, honestly. Like this might be the worst team in the NFL.
And just hands down, there's nobody that really excites you other than CMC.
We got J.C. Horn too. I forgot he's coming back. J.C. Horn is coming back.
But still, I mean, there was the Robbie Anderson year where he had a great year. Haven't seen him since, really. I know you're a big DJ Moore guy. DJ Moore did rank 26th out of receivers last year, according to Pro Football Focus. So something there. I just don't see. I don't know how this defense contains anybody. I mean, on the defense, there's just nobody there. You look at the linebacking core, and I had to think for a second. Does Luke Kuechly still play in this league? But he's not there. It's just not great, man. It's just not great.
Yeah. So the over-under is 6.5. Let me double check because obviously I did this last week. Yep, still there. 6.5 over-under. What are you doing?
Under, I think. Under. 5 wins maybe. I think they're like well under.
Yeah, I do too. I'm taking the under. I don't like the QB battle as I mentioned. I want to trust McCaffrey. I think he is the key to that over/under. Honestly,
Yeah.
like he's like that 1 to 2 game guy that can get you 1 or 2 extra games. I think you're right. I think it's like a 3-4 win team.
Yep. And we're talking fantasy here. I don't think there's anybody else other than Christian McCaffrey. Maybe if you're looking at wide receiver and you want to go crazy, DJ Moore. Like I said, he ranked 20.
Crazy. He's a 1,000-yard receiver every year.
No, you're right. But
every
I mean,
year.
just
consistent.
So like,
he's not going to blow anybody away, but he's consistent.
I think it's like where is he getting drafted? That's the only thing that I'm wondering. Like where is he getting drafted?
Do you have the ADP up or no?
I do. Let me see. So the ADP for DJ Moore is, drum roll please, taking a long time to find. All right. His ADP right now is 34th. 34.5. So pick number 34.5. So he's going like third round. In 10-team leagues. Third round, both leagues, yeah. Yep. 12 and 10. So wide receiver 13 is where they have him ranked as well. So I don't know. I think that's a little bit of a stretch for me. I don't think I'm taking there. So I'll take CMC, and as my sleeper, I would go Robbie Anderson because I have him on my team and I need him to have a big year.
Yeah, I like CMC as well. I mean, if I have to take him, I'm probably passing on him. But if I'm late in the first round, I'll probably take him. My sleeper, Robbie Anderson. And then my deep sleepers, honestly, Baker Mayfield and Tommy Tremble at tight end. So if you're really desperate for a tight end, we know those guys are going to be terrible running for their lives. So look for the tight end he made a little noise at the end of last year, and look for him to be their security blanket as they're getting demolished. So over under, Matt Linder said over under on 12 games for CMC. Slam the under.
Yeah, I'd make that a lock too.
Under 4. Kurt says under 4 games. That sounds about right.
I don't know about. I really hope not. Because when he plays, he's one of the best running backs in the league. Last year,
didn't he get hurt when we were up in Maine last year, and he got hurt that first game of the season?
Yeah, it's tough stuff. Guy. I mean, what do you want to say? The guy fucking it's made of glass. But when he plays, he's a top 10 running back.
Disgusting.
Always.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's unfortunate what's been happening to him, but
yeah,
it's what it is.
But all right, the third team. Sorry, the third team in the NFC South, the New Orleans Saints. Key additions: Jarvis Landry, safety Tyrann Mathieu, safety Marcus May, wide receiver Chris Olave, round 1 from Ohio State, offensive tackle Trevor Penning from Northern Iowa. Key departures: safety Malcolm Jenkins and tackle Teron Armstead, among a couple others, I believe, but those were some of the key ones. Wow, I mean, those additions are pretty solid. What do you think about the New Orleans Saints, Vic?
Don't sleep on Saints, my guy. This is a team that can get good. I know Sean Payton's gone, Drew Brees is gone. That team is no longer there, obviously. But if we're looking at the Saints as a whole, it's a complete team. They have a good starting quarterback in Jameis Winston. He's not great. He's not going to dazzle. But last year, this is a team that went 9-8. Finished 13 overall in team grades, 24th in offense, and they certainly upgraded on that offense, right? As far as you mentioned key departures, they did lose Malcolm Jenkins, their safety, who was that linchpin there, but they didn't lose much else in the defense. So that
they got Matthew and May to replace him.
This was a team that was ranked second in defense last year, according to Pro Football Focus's team grades, and first in special teams. And we all know Bill Belichick loves that special teams. So I actually like the Saints a lot this year.
Yeah, so do I. Yeah, the defense running the ship. It's a little bit different of a team than we were used to with the New Orleans Saints, being offensive heavy with Drew Brees. But since his departure, they've shifted gears. And honestly, since kind of his decline, they've shifted gears, and they've done it very impressively. And obviously, they still got one of the best running backs back there. He's the lead back with the added threats coming back, with Michael Thomas coming back, with Jarvis Landry coming into the fold. This could potentially be also kind of an offensive nightmare. You're just gonna have like slants everywhere, like just short passing.
Right.
They're just gonna kill you with 1,000 cuts, on offense. And
they're not going to be any worse on offense than they were last year. And like I said, they were ranked 24th in offense last year, so they're only going to get better.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think Kamara should see some added points. You see some added touches and in more yards, I think, than last year, like you mentioned, because their offense was so stagnant and kind of really relied on him. But now with Michael Thomas coming back, with Jarvis Landry in the fold, it's going to open things up a ton. So, yeah, don't sleep on the Saints, my guy. Just like you said, don't sleep on them. That's crazy. But so the over-under right now, let me double-check it. This was, again, from last week, is 8 now. Wow. It went down. Last week it was 8.5. Over/under is 8. What say you?
I'm going to take the over here, and not only am I going to take the over. Here comes my first hot take of 2022 season. I think that the New Orleans Saints are going to win the division.
Oh shoot! Damn, you really think so? Well, how many wins? How many wins is it going to take to win this division right now?
I think they're going to win 12 games.
Okay, impressive, and probably get the tiebreaker.
I think the Bucs are going to.
You think it's going to be a tiebreaker situation, or the Bucs are just going to have 10 or 11 wins?
No, I think they're going to finish like around the same. I think the Saints will have the tiebreaker. As we all know, the Saints own Tom Brady for whatever reason. So I think they beat them twice last year, if I remember correctly, didn't they? So I like the Saints to win the division this season.
I love it. That's a great hot take.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like the over. I actually had him around 11 wins. I think the team is flush with talent on both sides of the football. Obviously, the defense lost their linchpin, like you mentioned, in Malcolm Jenkins, but they got replacements in Tyrann Mathieu, as well as Marcus May. I think the QB situation kind of worries me. But before the injury, Jameis Winston looked really solid last season. So I'm hoping that works out. And I really think Andy Dalton is potentially passable as a backup if he has to come in and play a little bit.
That's what I was thinking too. I'll be honest. That's exactly my thought too, Sammy. Is this year, I think Jameis Winston missed a few games, and that really tanked their season when that wide receiver had to play quarterback. So, and let's not remember that whole situation. So, it's good to have a steady guy in there like Winston. Obviously, he is turnover prone, but I still like the team. I like where they're at. I like the draft. I like the free agency signings. I even like their coach. I think they're in for a good season here. That's for sure.
Yeah. All right. So hit me with some fantasy players. I think we're probably gonna pick the same ones as studs, pretty much.
Yeah. So it's a no-brainer for me. It's Alvin Kamara is my stud for this team.
Yeah. I got Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas. I think Michael Thomas is still a stud. And I think he's going to be even better. I think that's going to help Jameis a lot. I got a sleeper in Jarvis Landry. Just always a mid-round guy that you can always rely on, man. I mean, I don't think that's going to change much.
I think he's going a little high for my liking. I'm sorry. I was talking about Michael Thomas. So he's going averaging as ADP is 49.5. So that's like right at the start of the 5th round in a 10-team league, in the 4th round in a 12-team league. That's a little high for me. I feel like you can get better talent there.
I don't know, though. I think that's pretty good value for the talent.
Right, but I mean, if you can get Olave at 115, I feel like that's just as good as Michael Thomas, and especially with Michael Thomas's health questions, I like Olave better than Thomas.
Okay.
Now, my sleeper for this team is actually Jameis Winston, who was ranked now as the 20th ranked quarterback, but I think he's going to be better than that this year. He's going 160th ADP, so I think he's going to be there at the end of drafts. My strategy this year I like a lot is going late on quarterback. and not paying too high for your Josh Allens and your Aaron Rodgers. So,
Right.
I
Unless
like
they
Winston.
fall to you. Unless they fall to you.
Well, it depends when they're going to fall to you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with
So,
you there.
yeah, that's my pick.
I have my deep sleeper also. I like to throw in Adam Troutman, throwing in a
Mm-hmm.
pass-catching tight end in there. So that could help out. Chris Olave, of course. Jarvis Landry is another one of my sleepers. He's super, super consistent, just a guy that always gets open. So you can always count on him there. But all right. So your hot take, perfect segue. The last and not least team in the NFC South, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So obviously the key acquisitions, Julio Jones, Russell Gage, safety Logan Ryan, Keanu Neal, and running back Rashad White out of ASU, among many. Key departures, Gronkowski, Jordan Whitehead, Rojo, Ronald Jones, and of course, Bruce Arians. So Vic, you got to follow up.
Yeah.
You got to follow up with your hot take on your Buccaneers takes now. What do you think about the Bucs this season?
So I just think they're another year older, and I think at some point Tom Brady has to regress. I don't know if he's going to regress as far as being a terrible quarterback this season, but let's look at what he did this offseason. You know, usually he's the guy that's locked in. He took a vacation to go hang out with his kids, and you know what? More power to him. The guy's 40-something years old. He needs to be out enjoying his family. Instead, he came back for another season. I just don't think he's as locked in as he normally is. I think they could stumble out of the gate. I think Gronk is a big loss for him. He was his safety blanket there. Somebody he could trust, his confidant. So I think that's going to hurt the team a little bit. Todd Bowles is the head coach of this team. This feels very Mark Jackson to me, where the same guy just keeps getting a chance. I think he is not a good head coach. I didn't like him in Minnesota. I don't like his coaching style. And even though we all know Tom Brady's the offensive coordinator, I'm still not loving the fit there. And obviously he was picked by Brady. But you look at the team and it looks like it's stacked. But we've seen these dream teams fail before, and the only reason they didn't fail before was because Tom Brady was locked in. He had his guy Gronk there. He had people that would have his back, and I get it. All these guys look up to him, but I just think it's at some point he needs to lose his voice in the locker room, and people are just gonna stop following his every word and whatnot. But I don't know. It just feels like a weird locker room fit to me. You know what I mean? All these guys, all these personalities in there. So right. We saw what happened to AB last year. Obviously he's a man of a different breed, but I don't feel it this year. It's a weird feeling in my stomach about Brady this year.
That's weird. Yeah, I mean, first-year head coach Todd Bowles seems to be doing all the right things, and obviously it's been 11 days or something like that since Tom Brady has reported to practice. So there was something going on there that they don't really know as of right now. I was listening to a little bit earlier.
He's on vacation with his kids.
Yeah, but there was rumor there was something else, but but obviously
what's the rumor? You can't just say there's a rumor.
They were saying something about potentially maybe like illness in the family or something like that. So. So yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I also heard a rumor that he was on Dancing with the Stars, or no, The Masked Singer.
Oh, really?
That's
funny.
It's crazy shit, man.
So yeah, first-year head coach Todd Bowles seems to be doing all the right things in Tampa Bay, despite the humongous gaffe at the NFC divisional round game on defense, as we all know and we watched. I think the offense still looks just as dangerous. I think, like you said, they are just a year older. Still got Mike Evans. They got Chris Godwin back. Russell Gage is trying to fit in. Julio Jones, we shall see. He apparently looks terrible in camp. Saw a couple of videos. And they also have Kyle Rudolph. Obviously, Kyle Rudolph is not going to be Rob Gronkowski, but he's definitely going to block as well as Rob Gronkowski. Probably be a solid, end zone guy for them. According to Pro Football Focus, the defense looks sufficient enough given the strength of the front six. Obviously, again, this is something you and I have hammered over the years. The secondary is not that great. Winfield seems to be the coverage anchor back there. But honestly, I looked it up last week. Jamel Dean and Carlton Davis took some decent coverage leaps last season. They were 20th and 21st out of 116 quarterbacks. So obviously not great right? Considering that's your 1 and 2, you'd probably want your 1 to be a little bit higher, but there's no real gap between those two corners, so I guess that's solid. You got 2 number 2s. But I think, like you said earlier, I think that's going to probably be an issue for when they play New Orleans, when they play some of these bigger teams. The only real storyline here, I think, is like you mentioned, is like how many wins can they get, and will Julio Jones be relevant, right? Like everything else is probably just business as usual, but is Julio Jones going to fit in there? Is that secondary going to be just as good? Maybe was last year them being 20th and 21st, was that just, an anomaly? But we can always trust the front six, but they are a year older, right? So it's going to be interesting there. The over-under right now is 11.5. So it's a little high. I will say that.
There's no, I was looking at, just for references, I like to look at Pro Football Focus has a lot of great betting tools on there, and they have the Buccaneers. They like the over. They think the over has an edge here. But I'm going to go against the grain here. I'm going to take the under. I think they finish at 11 wins.
Yeah. I took the under as well. But again, like you said, this is his curtain call. This is his last dance, his encore performance. We're going to see. I'm with you, though. Like, I don't feel it. And I think everybody pointed it out here. That no center, the lack of a center is a huge problem. I think that is also the case. Thank you, BP, in the chat. RTJC forgot about Kyle Rudolph. Kyle cites Rudolph will have 8 touchdowns on 15 receptions.
That's so true. That's so true.
That's probably what's going to happen, too. But
yeah, that's true. Great take, Kyle.
But, all right, so some fantasy players, Vic. Hit me with them.
All right, you're taking the over.
No, I'm taking the under. Sorry. No, I'm taking the under.
Oh, under. Okay.
11.
Okay. So we're done with the South, right? So let's do our recap. So we had I had the under on the Falcons. I'm sorry, I had the over on the Falcons.
Yep.
I had the over on the Saints. I had the under on the Panthers and the under on the Bucs. Okay.
Correct.
Cool.
Some of your fantasy. Hit me with the fantasy players for the Bucs.
You gotta go Mike Evans. He's gonna burn you a lot of games, but I think that's my stud there. Even Godwin possibly. Yeah. We'll see what happens when he actually hits real game time. But Godwin and Evans, I think, are the 2 studs here. Fournette maybe as well, depending on what his draft position is. Let's see where he's getting drafted right now. But yeah, I think those are my 2 studs on the team.
Okay. Yeah, I like Fournette as a little bit of a sleeper since he's not going to be sharing the role as much. Deep sleeper, I got the Russell Gage versus Cyril Grayson. That's going to be really interesting. Apparently, Grayson's pretty much loved in camp. But obviously, Gage has a little bit more under his belt. So we'll see what happens there. But I think one of those 2 guys could be kind of that X factor, maybe like a 500-600 yard wide receiver. But yeah.
The fuck is Grayson?
I think he was in the playoff game. He had that touchdown down the seam.
He's not even ranked on Pro Football Focus.
I know.
That's a deep sleeper.
That's why I said deep sleeper.
Yeah, I like for my sleeper, I like a guy that's going undrafted really, in Cameron Brate at tight end. One of these tight ends is going to break out. Brate loves his tight ends. I think it's going to be Brate rather than Rudolph. I've seen flashes from him. Another sleeper for me would be never mind. Leonard Fournette isn't a sleeper. He's being drafted as the 21st overall player. So you're looking at a second rounder in 12-team leagues there.
For who?
Leonard Fournette.
Wow.
ADP is 21.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's high. Might be a little bit steeper a price than I want to pay, especially when he actually is the highest drafted Buck right now, according to Pro Football Focus's ADP.
Wow.
So, $41 auction value right now on Sleeper as well, or on Pro Football Focus. So,
wow.
Do with that.
That is shocking, dude. Holy cow. I don't have my draft till tomorrow, so today I was going to do a little bit of research, but Thank you for giving me that little bit of
I'll take
news.
that guy.
But all right, anything else you want to get to on the NFC South, Vic?
I know, that's it. Let's get the hell out of there.
All righty. Now to your favorite division, or one of your favorite divisions, the AFC North. So obviously going again in alphabetical order. The Baltimore Ravens, key additions, safety Marcus Williams, offensive tackle Morgan Moses, safety Kyle Hamilton from Notre Dame in round 1 of the NFL draft. The key departures, Hollywood Brown, Sammy Watkins, Brandon Williams. I don't know what I think of the Baltimore Ravens, honestly. I think this is a team that leaves a lot to be desired, right? Like that you have Lamar Jackson and you continuously don't surround him with talented wide receivers. And I just, I don't know. I think their goal this offseason was to address the defense. I think they did that with some young talent in the draft. But it just seems they're just sticking run heavy. And it's like they haven't learned that that's just not going to win a championship for them right now. Like, I don't know. I'm confused. I don't know.
It's a tough look for these guys. I'll tell you that right now, Sammy. Lamar Jackson, in my opinion, has disappointed ever since he had that one amazing year. I think everybody's been expecting him to break out, and he just hasn't done it yet. And I believe last year he did get hurt. That's right? So, he was the 24th ranked quarterback last year, according to Pro Football Focus. I'm worried about the Ravens. I know I jumped into them this take earlier when I thought we were talking about them, but I don't know if Lamar Jackson is good. Does that make sense?
Right.
I think he's fine, right? But I don't think he's a great quarterback. So I'm worried about Lamar Jackson this season. I don't know if we see him finish the season upright because he's running around all the time.
Right.
Do we see Leonard Fournette go in the RG3 category where he's constantly hurt, barely on the field? I don't know.
Probably. I mean, and that's the thing, right? Like you see this talent, you see a guy that can do what he can do with his feet, but then you don't even give him options to use his arm. And so they just say, oh, he's only a running quarterback. It's like, well, no, we've seen him prove it when he's had some talented wide receivers, especially in college. But obviously that's college, it's very different. But they're not even trying, right? Like they're not even trying to surround him with anything. He's got Mark Andrews, and that's like it. And then they lose their number one wide receiver, and they don't even try to replace him. I mean, they got Rashad Bateman, who, can he shoulder the load as a wide receiver one? I mean, maybe, because they're not going to throw the ball frequently. But if you don't have the weapons, that means you're not going to throw the ball. You're telling everybody you're not going to throw the ball. So I don't know.
And he missed 5 games last year, right?
Right.
He missed two games in 2020. 2019 was his breakout year. He had that amazing year, and he only missed the last game. So I'm concerned injury wise for him. That's why I'm mostly concerned. He's still only 25 though, Sam, which was interesting to me. But still, I'm not feeling great. But we'll see.
I'm with you. So the over under, let me double check it again. I had it at 9.5. Let's see if the line's moved since last week. 9.5 still. So over under is 9.5. What are you doing with that one, Vic?
I'm gonna go under. I think I like the under here.
Yeah, so do I.
I like the under. I like the under. I think they win 8 games, 8 or 9 games.
Yeah, I'm taking the under. Probably around 8 to 9. Is that what you just said? Yeah, same.
Yeah.
But to kind of back it up, I think the rest of the division got stronger and really addressed their holes. I think Baltimore attempted a little bit, but kind of
Pittsburgh didn't.
half-heartedly. I'm going to get to that, but half-heartedly. I think they half-heartedly went after the defense. I think they didn't address anything offensively. I think if they went out and got and just to throw a name out there because we talked about him earlier, if they went and got like a Michael Thomas, I think that would throw this team over the edge. I think that would be like tremendous for Lamar Jackson. But obviously they didn't do that. They didn't go out and even try and maybe I don't remember hearing them even courting Jarvis Landry. That would be another pretty good fit here. But yeah. So your fantasy studs, Vic. I got the under.
Fantasy stud. What's that?
I had the under. Just like you.
Yeah, okay, good call. I think that's the right call there, Sammy. Fantasy stud is easy. It's Mark Andrews. That's the stud there. I mean, he's fantastic. He had more receiving yards last year than I'm going to bring this up. I'm going to show you this list right now, Sammy. I think you might be surprised with just how many yards our guy Mark Andrew has ended up having last year. So we're looking at he had more yards than Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, Tyler Lockett, Deontay Johnson, Travis Kelce, Chris Godwin, CeeDee Lamb, T. Higgins, Terry McLaurin, Hunter Renfrow, and Mike Evans.
Yep.
And he is a tight end, guys. So there's only 5 people that had more yards than him, and that's Deebo Samuel, Jamar Chase, Devontae Adams, Justin Jefferson, and Cooper Kupp.
And those are really good wide receivers.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm with you there. As well, I got my sleeper as J.K. Dobbins, the running back. Probably not really a sleeper. What's his ADP currently?
So Dobbins, I believe ADP is 33.8. So you're looking third round, 10 team, second round. Third round, 10 team, third round in 12 team as well.
Not really a sleeper. I might pass on that in the third round. And then my deeper sleeper, Devin Duvernay. That's their number 2 wideout as of right now. He might become the number 1. We will see. Again, he's young, so it's kind of like a flip a coin situation there with him. But yeah, anything else on the Baltimore Ravens?
No, it's a boring team, right?
So boring.
Yeah.
So boring. But all right, second on the list, and your homies from last year. I'm not going to say your homies anymore. Your homies from last year, the Cincinnati Bengals. So if you guys are fans of the podcast, you would know Vic's heater from early last year. Before even a game got started, Victor was hollering for the Cincinnati Bengals. And, of course, they made it all the way to the Super Bowl. Key additions, tight end, Hayden Hurst, offensive tackle, Lyle Collins, center, Teddy Karras, safety, Daxton Hill from Michigan, cornerback, Cam Taylor-Britt, and offensive tackle, Alex Kappa. Key departures, CJ Uzomah, wide receiver, Auden Tate, defensive tackle, Larry Ogunjobi. That was probably one of the better defensive players that I like for them, so that kind of hurts. But we all know the Bengals were an offensive line away from a Super Bowl, and they went and they addressed that. Vic, I'm going to let you cook because this is your team.
Yeah,
what say you about the Bengals?
This is what I don't understand about Kurt saying Stafford humbled the Bengals. That's the most outrageous thing I ever heard. The Bengals were literally seconds away from winning the Super Bowl. So I don't want to hear that nonsense, Kurt. But as far as what I like about this team this year is everything. The swagger, right? They don't feel like a team that thinks that they made the Super Bowl and feel accomplished in themselves. Now, I will say I do plan on seeing some make it to the Super Bowl regression, right? Like you do with every team every year that makes it to the Super Bowl. One of them usually does regress a lot. So definitely saying that they're going to regress a little bit. And, you look at the team, they're stacked on offense, right? They've got some great wide receivers, a great running back in Mixon, and one of the best quarterbacks in the league in Joe Burrow. So I don't bet against offense in this league. I think that they are on their way to another division title.
Ooh, yes. Yeah, they as I mentioned, they were an offensive line away, and as you perfectly pointed out, it wasn't really the offense. It was the defense of the Rams that got to Joe Burrow within seconds of the game. Hayden Hurst, I think, adds more offensive depth and the blocking ability at tight end. And I think your darlings look as good as ever. I think they were a year early on their run, as probably you did too. But I still think they look prime for another deep run. Probably a slight regression, but I'm with you that I think they're going to win the division again. I think they are the division favorites. They do have the 7th hardest strength of schedule, as expected, because they won the Super Bowl, they won the division, so you're going to play the top teams from every other division. So that's something also to be mindful, with regards to, your expectations of the Bengals. Like, oh, they're losing games. Like, well, yeah, because they're playing some of the best talent in the league. Currently, their over-under is 9.5. I think that's robbery. What about you?
Yeah, no, I You know what? See, I don't know that it is.
Really?
I think 9.5 is a good spot. Yeah. If I'm looking right now at, on Pro Football Focus here, so if we're looking at projections, right, the Cincinnati Bengals have a 61% chance to make the playoffs, 38% chance to win the division. So I think that they will win the division, but I think this division is going to beat itself up a lot. So I am going to take the over, but I'm going to take the over slightly. And if you're looking at Pro Football Focus and you're looking at the betting lines as far as like which ones they like the most, out of all the teams that we're doing today, the NFC South and the AFC North, they have the over on the Bengals, but they are the least amount of confident in it out of all the teams that we've gone over so far. So the Bengals are the least confident team that as far as Pro Football Focus when it comes to the over-under. I'm still taking the over. I think they win 10 or 11 games this year.
Yeah, I was more on the bench, or I was more on the side of I'm hammering the over. I think this team is improved from last year. It's something you don't always see, especially with a team as flushed with talent as they are. Granted, like you mentioned, they do have a tough schedule. This is a tough division. But I do think they could have beaten a lot of these teams with what you and I had mentioned a lot last year was that offensive line is just really destroying them. They didn't lose anything at all offensively with all that talent. They added an offensive line. Defense is relatively the same. So yeah, I'm with you. I mean, 11 games. So I'm at 11. I'm confidently at an 11.
And they are the favorite to win the division, right? So I think they do it again this year. So
I think Cleveland not having Deshaun helps too.
I think that Deshaun is going to get there too late is going to be the issue.
Yep. So your fantasy players for the Cincinnati Bengals, Vic?
Can I just say the whole offense?
So Stringer 420 screaming "Who Dey," and he says if healthy, the Bengals are definitely an over, and I agree with that.
I do too, but I just don't like the number as much. I would take the over still, but the that's what scares me is the number. Yeah. So if we're looking at fantasy wise here, who do I like the best? So I'm going to go with it's a no-brainer, Jamar Chase. So obviously Chase. Who else would I have in my top two?
Mixon.
I was thinking either Mixon. I was trying to decide between Mixon or Higgins. I like Mixon.
I do too.
I think he's ranked this year as the QB8 or RB8. So I think he's a solid first rounder there.
Me too. I do too. I think with the offensive line help, I think he did what he did last season, having to jump through people, and I think now he's going to get a little more support. I think you're going to see a big year from Joe Mixon this year.
Yeah.
Sleepers, T. Higgins, and Joe Burrow. That's who I put there. Just because I'm with you. I'm usually in the same boat as you. I'm not really high on quarterbacks. And then my deep sleeper, Hayden Hurst, tight end.
I don't know that T. Higgins is a sleeper. He's a third round pick right now. Average ADP is 29.6. So I'm for sleepers. I'm gonna go. Tyler Boyd, I think.
Okay.
The third wide receiver there. I think he can have a big year. I don't think he's better than Higgins, but I think he can. I think there's going to be enough to go around where his value, which right now he's getting drafted as 120 in the 121st pick. He's the 44th ranked wide receiver. I think he finishes way above that ranking, top 30 even. And another one, Hayden Hurst, I like a lot. I think that a tight end on this team can succeed. They just need to find a capable one.
Yeah. Oh, quick shout out to Geronimo. Say what's up to Geronimo, Vic.
Yo, what up, Geronimo?
What up, Anthony in the chat? What up, Kurt? TJ Hashas Mode. You mean Hushman Zada?
Yeah, that's Sammy's guy.
Yeah. But all right. So moving on from anything else you want to get to on the Bengals, bro?
Oh, good day.
All right. So third on the list of the AFC North is the Cleveland Browns. Obviously, key additions: Deshaun Watson, Amari Cooper, Jacoby Brissett. Key departures: Baker Mayfield, Jarvis Landry, Austin Cooper. So yeah, we got the news last week that Deshaun Watson is out for 11 games, and I think that pretty much just throws out all the notes that I had. So I'll let you start again. Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, whatever. Who cares?
Yeah.
I don't think they're a playoff team this year because of the suspension.
Yep.
It's tough to win the division when you don't have a quarterback, especially when you spend all that money on Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
So
I love Amari Cooper though, so don't.
But
I don't need the slander. I love Amari Cooper.
Yeah. So I'm not too bullish on him this year. I love.
I'm not either
talent.
because Jacoby Brissett can't throw. But
yeah, and so I'm not feeling great about them. But as far as the Browns, I just don't see it this year. I think maybe next year could be a good year for them. Myles Garrett's a beast, but as far as win totals and over unders, I believe their over unders at 8.5. Is that right?
Is it now? Did it move? No, it's
That's
9.5.
It's 9.5 now.
Isn't that insane? Yeah, it went from 10 to 9.5.
I just don't know why.
I don't either.
Yeah, I still don't like the over, man. I like the under. I don't think these
I'm
people
taking the under.
Have these people seen Jacoby Brissett play?
I don't know what they're going on.
Yeah.
I mean, Nick Chubb is still really
as
good.
Far as,
I mean, can
Football Focus.
Can he pull a DeMarco Murray? You know what I mean? Where he's running the ball every down.
Kareem Hunt is there, causing a stir now too.
Yeah.
He says he wants to get out. You know, I feel like we've been waiting for 10 years for David Njoku to blow up. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking the under there. I'm slamming it, even with Jacoby
Under.
Brissett, just slamming it. No Deshaun Watson until week 11. Yeah, no dice.
No thanks.
No dice.
And you guys, they just have shitty uniforms too. Like that makes me hate them more.
So boring. Do something different. It's not even brown.
Yeah.
It's orange.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah. Fantasy studs. I'm probably just going after Nick Chubb. That's about it.
Chubb.
Yeah, that's about it. Sleepers. Donovan Peoples-Jones is mine.
Oh, that's a good one. How about Ernest Johnson? No, I'm just kidding. How about David Njoku? I think this is the year. He's getting drafted 177th.
I feel like we say this is the year every year for Njoku.
It's got to happen.
Nah,
it's got to happen.
A broke clock is right twice a day, right?
Yeah.
All right.
And as far as power rankings go, let me touch real quick on the power rankings and the percentages for these guys. So right now, the Browns have a 50% chance to make the playoffs, 28% chance to win the division. So I think that's insane, but they do have the strength of schedule is the 18th in the league. But still, there's no way. I don't know what is the confidence in the Browns? They're the 12th ranked team in the power rankings, above the Patriots.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Makes no sense.
I mean, the defense is really good. That's probably it, right? I mean, are they going to score points though?
Yeah. No.
And I got deep sleeper David Bell, wide receiver out of Purdue.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's about it. That's about all I got in the Cleveland Browns.
Cleveland Browns.
All right. The last team for today before your Townie takeaway. I think you got some soccer for me, right? No? I did the Townie takeaway.
Yeah, I have a little bit of that. I also have an announcement as well.
Okay.
I do. I have some soccer, and then I have an announcement regarding my fantasy status in the Sean Poo Poo Pants League.
Oh, nice. All right, so the final team, Pittsburgh Steelers, key additions, Mitch Trubisky, Kenny Pickett, round 1 from Pitt, wide receiver George Pickens, round 2 from Georgia, and wide receiver Miles Boykin. Key departures, Juju Smith-Schuster, Ben Roethlisberger retired, thank God, good riddance, and then James Washington departed as well. This is a team I've been hammering for the last year, 2 years that said this is such a good team, but they have everything. They literally have everything except the quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely. They got running, and they're doing a great job. It pisses me off because I hate the Steelers, but they're doing a great job of drafting and building that team. This is the team that's going to be a problem in the next few years. So,
yo, House of Fandom in the house in the chat right now.
What up? Hey.
What up, Clark?
Clark in the house. I don't know, man. it's a hard team to make an assumption on. I know everybody says Mitch Trubisky looks like he's actually competent. Could Mitch Trubisky be the next Ryan Tannehill? We'll see. Much more to see on that. They also have Kenny Pickett there, their first-round pick. I don't think he sees the field this year, though. I think Trubisky wins the job outright and keeps him on the bench. Pickens looks great as well. And just to think that the Patriots could have had him, another receiver we whiff on. But who the hell's drafting receivers for the Steelers? We need to find him and we need to hire him.
Yes,
he's incredible.
God,
they don't miss. They don't miss. So the over under where we're at 7.5.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Let me double check. Yeah, 7.5 still.
Sammy, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the over here. I think they finished tied with the Ravens actually, with 8 wins, 8 or 9 wins. I think they're good enough to do that.
This is a team that I'm actually I hate that I'm supporting them right now because it's Pittsburgh Steelers, but this is a team that I'm pretty big on. I think this is a defense that also is rebuilding, managed to be around 14th according to Pro Football Focus last year. I think Mitch Trubisky gets his last chance as a QB with a steady RB1, a solid wideout, great tight end. I think there's really no excuse. There's no excuse for him, right? So, I mean, granted, in the past he hasn't had, the skill set maybe around him. Maybe he was never in a situation to succeed. Now there's really no excuse here in Pittsburgh. Then he also has, Najee Harris. He's a freaking stud. I think that's gonna, take a lot of the load off his back as well. Then he's got hometown hero Kenny Pickett chasing him down because, again, like you said, Kenny Pickett's looked really good. I would think he'll be the starter by year's end. I think maybe an injury and he comes in and then he impresses like crazy and then he keeps going. I'm going over. I think this team won 9 games with a hobbling Ben Roethlisberger turning the ball over all the time. I think this is a situation where the team got it's addition by subtraction, if that makes sense. So just the team got better by removing not a cancer, but just a player that just wasn't helping, and if anything, it was more of a detriment to their team. And I think the Deshaun Watson thing helps them as well. I think maybe if you're looking at a situation where Deshaun Watson is in, maybe that hurts them more. But I think this team, they can. I think they can win 10, maybe 9-10 games. And quick question, Clark asked if we're doing a football pool this year where you pick winners and stuff.
I'd be up for something like that to set that up on ESPN.
Yeah, I think so. I think we can pull something like that out. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Clark. Thanks.
Yeah, that's a great idea. We're just gonna steal all your ideas and run with it. He said we're invited to his housewarming party though, so I'm gonna wait for my invite in the mail. Hopefully it comes soon.
Yeah.
But anything else on fantasy, Pittsburgh Steelers.
I like Najee Harris, and I like Deontay.
Yeah. So do I. I actually have a sneaky deep sleeper in Mitch Trubisky. I think from a fantasy perspective, I'm not talking about from winning anything like that, right? This is strictly fantasy. I think if you look in the past, Ben Roethlisberger has been very serviceable as a fantasy quarterback with the talent. And I think Trubisky can do that and be a little bit better. And I think he won't kill your fantasy team. And he'll probably be pretty decent.
I didn't get to choose a sleep.
Huh?
I didn't get to choose a sleep.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
And I just turned my fan on. Can you hear it? Am I okay?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So as far as my sleeper, I like George Pickens. I already closed my ADP.
Okay.
So I don't have that up, but I can already tell he's being underdrafted. I think he's going to finish as a top 20 wide receiver this year.
Who was it?
Pickens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Damn, top 20, huh?
Top 20.
All right. I like that. We got 2 great hot takes today. Can't wait to use those. But all right, Vic. I will let you take it away.
Sure. So the first thing I want to talk about, where we're going to lose half our viewers, is the English Premiership and one Leeds United, baby, because we're here to stay. Who just gave Chelsea a thumping 3-0 last week, last Sunday actually, where two Americans, Tyler Adams and Brendan Aronson, were on the pitch for most of the goals. Absolutely incredible showing for Leeds against a top team in Chelsea, and all under the tutelage of Leeds United manager Jesse Marsch, who's a USA product himself. Now, that wasn't the only USA product on the field. James Harrison on the field as well, a product of the United States NCAA and MLS, the other goal scorer in that game. So, what am I trying to say here? I am trying to say that Leeds United is one of the most important things for United States soccer since Clint Dempsey played at Fulham. The success of this team will not only grow the fan base in the United States, but also grow the image of Americans playing soccer abroad as well. We are a national team that does not get a lot of respect, and honestly, rightly so for the past few years. We're a team that's lacked depth, that has played mostly as a counter team with no vision, no promise, no
flow.
No flow, right. And it's just boring to watch. I'll be frank. The team now that we have coming up is not only the most talented team that the United States will ever send to the World Cup, but it definitely will be the deepest team that we've ever sent to the World Cup. Just the sheer number of players, as far as who is going and who is not, there's at least 3 or 4 guys that are playing in Europe that aren't going to the World Cup. And that's because and that would be crazy 10 years ago. If there was a guy that was playing in the second league in England and he wasn't the starter in the starting 11 10 years ago, it would have been insane.
Or like the best player.
Shit, Jermaine Jones is not Jermaine Jones. What's his name? The German guy. Oh my God, they hit the goal against Portugal. Can't think of his name right now.
Kobe?
RTJ, let me know if you know. What?
I think it is Jermaine Jones.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Jermaine Jones. We were salivating over those guys. DeAndre Yedlin, because he was playing in Europe so early as a kid. Wow, look at him. He's going to, Fulham or whatever. This is awesome. And then Matt Miazga back in the day, you're like, oh my God, he's going to Chelsea. He's only 21 years old. Now we look at this team overall and we measure them in success and how much playing time they're getting. So you see a guy like Christian Pulisic, who arguably is the best player that the United States men's national teams has seen in years. You look at people like Serginho Dest, Matt Turner, Zach Steffen, who are taking roles at these clubs to only be benched. These guys need to understand you need to be a Brendan Aronson. You need to be a Tyler Adams. You need to be a Jesse Marsch. You need to go to these lesser teams and show. But don't only show for you and the money. Show for yourself and your country. Because, they are representing all of us, right? Especially Leeds United. And what they've done so far in just 3 games has been awesome. Yes, they drew a 2-0 lead that they had in the second half. That sucked. But we all know 2-0 is a false lead in soccer. It happens all the time. Yeah. So it sucks, but it's understandable. But the fact that 3 Americans are now at the top, not the top of the table, but they're at the top, towards the top of the table after fighting relegation, it just shows that Jesse Marsch's system is working. And people like Thomas Tuchel, who are so dismissive of Marsch, they make me sick. Like, fuck that guy. Seriously, have fun in Germany. Go hang out with your freaking Führer, my guy. So, I'm just so happy, man. Honestly, just these last 3 games. I know it's only 3 games, and I know it's a long road ahead. But even if we finish mid-table and don't get relegated, not getting relegated is a win for Leeds United, right? This is a team that just got brought up to the Premiership 2 years ago, and just barely avoided it last year. So I'm rooting for them every time. I've never had an EPL team. Yes, I rooted for Chelsea. Yes, I rooted for Tottenham, but I never felt connected like I did with Leeds. I felt like I was watching the Celtics that game against Chelsea. I felt like I was watching the Sox. I was going fucking nuts. Ashley was screaming at me because I'm screaming. And it just felt great, man. I loved it. I love what Leeds United is doing, and I love what Jesse Marsh is doing. Keep it up, guys. Go United. Let's go. And now the second thing I wanted to talk about tonight was my involvement in the Sean Poo Poo Pants League. There has been rumors flowing everywhere, and it is on Townie Sports that I want to announce formally my retirement effective immediately from the Sean Poo Poo Pants League. I will be leaving the league again effective immediately. I just want to thank all my friends that were in that league with me. It was a great time. I think we've been on for 12 years now. But at this point in my life, I don't know. Fantasy's not as fun as it used to be for me, and I suck at it. So any advice you heard on the pod, take Sammy's advice, not mine. But yeah, that's all I have to say for tonight, Sammy. That's my takeaway.
Wow. That's tremendous. That's crazy news, dude.
I just poured my heart about Leeds United. We want to talk about fantasy football?
No, I mean, it's just I know how long this league's been around, so it's just like really shocking to me. So, all right. Anything else you want to touch on, Vic, before we sign off to everybody?
No, I just want to thank you guys for coming in, and thank you for letting me talk about Leeds United. And also, we've had a great run. So the United States men's national team, I just can't wait for November.
We'll do some special pods for the USMNT. How about that, Vic? Just for you.
Oh, we're definitely going to do some special pods. We're going to do some in-person World Cup pods. JC, I know you'd want to be there. So, yeah.
Let's do it. Mm-hmm. But all right, time to close it out. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to Townie Sports. Welcome to some of our new guests for joining us. We'll be live every week, Tuesday or Thursday, depending on kind of our schedules at 8 p.m., Be sure to tune in to our Instagram, Townie_sports, and our TikTok page at Townie Sports Pod. I'll be posting a lot more, being a lot more active this fall, because obviously we got a lot more sports going on. So I'll be able to post the clips, especially all the hot takes from Vic today, because those were tremendous. And every single person that have come on that have joined us in the podcast, thank you so much. Arctic JC, go check out his page. He does a lot of Pokemon openings. Average Kurt Cooks, go check him out. Go check out his gaming page, Average Kurt Games, right? Yeah, Average Kurt Games. So go check him out over there. Huge shout out to the House of Fandom. Huge shout out to Clark. He was one of the people that got us started, have a lot of confidence on us. Obviously, we took it to the next level with ourselves, but he was one that pushed us, and we wouldn't be where we are right now without him. Wouldn't be keep pushing if it wasn't for him. But just remember, we'll be live every week at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Keep a lookout for our post on Tuesday or Thursdays. Granted, it's going to be mostly on Tuesdays, once in a while Thursdays. The show would not be possible for all the fans, so be sure to like and subscribe, dog. It's that easy. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. I did too. It was easy. I was in the middle of potting, and I was actually talking, and I just liked it. So go tell your friends. Go tell, just open a fake account. I'm about to open a fake account and just like it.
I only see 2 likes in there, which was probably me and you.
And we had like 15 people in here, so that's crazy.
It's not that hard. Just give us a like.
Just give us a like. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
Tell your mom, tell your neighbor, tell your husband or wife, tell your aunt and your great aunt, tell the family friends, tell everybody, especially, it's football time, tell your friends when you go watch football opening weekend. But again, thank you so much for joining us. Be sure to like and subscribe. I'm your host, Sammy, alongside the great Vic, and we are Townie Sports. So see you folks next week.
Hey, swag so mean, swagger on 100. We keep it real, dog. Nah, we ain't never fronted. My whole cap G-Clan stay blunted. My toes stay bruised cause I'm running to the money. Swag so mean, swagger on 100. We keep it real, dog, nah, we ain't never fronted. My whole cap G-Clan stay blunted. My toes stay